Welcome to HSC Mathematics. This video will help you understand what are your options when studying mathematics in year 11 and 12. It will explain the prerequisites and the requirements for each course, and it will hopefully help you make some important decisions. If you wish to study mathematics in year 11, you have three choices, which are listed in red: Mathematics Standard, Mathematics, and Mathematics Extension 1. The two courses listed in black you can only study in year 12, and I will explain more about these later. Let's start with the lowest level of mathematics that you can study for the HSC, and that is Mathematics Standard. This is a new course in 2018, and it is to replace the old Mathematics General course. It is a 2-unit subject. Mathematics Standard helps students find solutions to a broad range of problems encountered in everyday life. It is important to note that it is a non-calculus based course. This means that you will not study the calculus, which is a prerequisite for a number of university courses. Everybody that decides to study Mathematics Standard needs to do the same preliminary course. However, when you get to year 12, you then have the choice to study HSC Standard 1 or HSC Standard 2. Now, HSC Standard 1 is a non-8R course, and that means that it cannot count towards your 8R. While Mathematics Standard 2 is an 8R course, which means that it can count 2 units towards your 8R. The first thing we are going to look at is the preliminary standard syllabus, which, remember, both Standard 1 and Standard 2 students need to study in year 11. The topics that you will be studying are algebra, measurement, financial mathematics, and statistical analysis. Well, if it sounds familiar, it is because the content is very similar to the one you studied in year 9 and 10, 5.2 maths. Algebra will involve formulae and equations and linear relationships. Measurement will involve applications of measurements such as area, perimeter, and volume, as well as working with time. In financial mathematics, you will study all about money matters. While in statistical analysis, you will look at data analysis as well as probability. Once you have successfully completed the Year 11 syllabus, you can then choose between Mathematics Standard 1 and Mathematics Standard 2 in Year 12. Let's start with Mathematics Standard 2, which is the 8R course and which is the one that most of you will study in Year 12. Now, the topics yet again include algebra, measurement, financial mathematics, statistical analysis, and networks. In algebra, you will be studying the different types of relationships. In measurement, you'll be looking at non-right-angled trigonometry, rates and ratios. Financial mathematics will involve investments, loans and annuities, and statistical analysis will have bivariate data analysis and normal distribution in it. And of course, there's the new topic of networks. Now, network diagrams are used by project planners and project managers, for example, to work out things such as the minimum time for a project to be completed. And this can be very useful in tertiary studies. If you decide that you do not want an 8R, but would still like to have the opportunity to further improve your numeracy skills for post-school options such as employment and training, then Mathematics Standard 1 is the course for you. Now, please note that while the same topics are studied in both courses, some of the content differs. Mathematics Standard 2, which is the 8R course, contains a greater amount of content and it is more challenging. Whilst I said that Mathematics Standard is the lowest level of mathematics you can study for the HSC, it is by no means an easy course. If you want to do well at standard mathematics, you still need to put in a lot of effort, like you would with any other subject. That brings us to presumed knowledge. We say that for students to study Mathematics Standard 2 for the HSC, they must have studied at least 5.2 mathematics in stage 5. This means that it is recommended for 5.2 and 5.3 students. If you are currently in a 5.1 class, that does not mean that you can't study Mathematics Standard 2, but we advise you to only choose this course if you have achieved satisfactory results in the Year 11 course and are willing to put in a lot of hard work. Mathematics Standard 1 we only recommend to those students who are currently studying the 5.1 course, or for those students who do not wish to get an 8R. The next level of mathematics that you can study for the HSC is called mathematics, and it is a 2-unit course. Now, this mathematics course involves the study of mathematical techniques, but most importantly, it involves complex algebra and calculus and their relevance to the real world. Now, one of the things you should consider when choosing mathematics for the HSC is what you want to do beyond the HSC, and that is what you would like to study at university. Because as of 2019, mathematics will be a prerequisite for a number of courses at several universities. And these courses are economics, commerce, science, veterinary science, psychology, pharmacy, IT, and engineering. Now, if you have not studied mathematics for the HSC and you have not received at least a Band 4, what this means is that you won't be able to actually apply for these courses because you will not get in. Now, if you want to get more information about this, you can click on the link below and go to the Sydney University website. Now, at the moment, it's Sydney University that published this information. However, it seems like other universities will also have these same prerequisites. So you need to be very careful and you need to check this out. Now, when you look at the mathematics syllabus, you can see that all the things that are listed here will only be familiar to you if you have studied 5.3 pathway in year 9 and 10. So in the preliminary syllabus, you got basic arithmetic and algebra, plane geometry, trigonometry, linear functions, real functions, which are other types of functions, also quadratic functions, and of course, calculus is introduced. As you can see, in the HSC course, there is a lot of calculus and a lot of algebra. And that brings us to the prerequisites or to the presumed knowledge in order to study mathematics. Now, it is very important that you understand that in order to study mathematics for the HSC, you must have studied the 5.3 mathematics pathway in stage 5. Students studying the 5.2 course are not recommended this subject, as they have not studied the prerequisite topics, and also their algebra skills are not good enough to cope with the complexities of the course. If you wish to extend yourself further, then you can of course study Mathematics Extension 1. Now, this is one additional unit, and I will explain that on the next slide. This is an extension of the mathematics course, and it can only be undertaken in conjunction with mathematics. So that means general mathematics students do not have the option of studying Mathematics Extension 1. Mathematics Extension 1 is required for further tertiary studies in mathematics, the physical sciences, and engineering. Now, if you have a look at the syllabus for Extension 1 Mathematics, Extension 1 students have to study everything that is in the Mathematics Common Course, and they also have to study their own content for Mathematics Extension 1. Now, this will involve further algebra, more complex calculus, and some other things that will help you later on at university if you go on to study, as we said, engineering and the physical sciences. Now, it's very important that you understand that if you study Mathematics Extension 1 for the HSC, then that means that you need to complete both the mathematics and the Extension 1 assessment tasks. You will also need to sit for 2 examination papers for the HSC. And that is the Mathematics Common Paper, which the mathematics students also sit for, and also you have your own Extension 1 additional paper. Now, this brings us to presumed knowledge, and this is extremely important. Because Extension 1 Mathematics is the highest level you can study in year 11, it is quite a challenging course. So we advise you that you must have studied 5.3 mathematics in stage 5. And you also should have achieved a grade A on your year 10 semester 1 report. Now that we discussed all the mathematics courses that are available for you to study for the HSC, we are going to look at, well, what should you choose? So let's start with Mathematics Extension 1. As we discussed before, it is only for 5.3 students who are achieving a grade A on their semester 1 report. Now, you need to have excellent algebra skills because the course involves complex algebra. And of course, you need to enjoy mathematics and thrive on challenges because after all, you'll be doing 3 units of mathematics for the HSC. The mathematics course is also for 5.3 students who have achieved a grade A or a grade B on their semester 1 report. You also need to have strong algebra skills for this course, and you need to enjoy all areas of mathematics, but especially algebra. Mathematics Standard is for 5.2 students and for those that have done very well in 5.1. Now I say this because, as we discussed, the preliminary course is for everyone and you don't get to choose the level of standard you want to do until year 12. As a general rule, use the guide given in this presentation to pick the highest level that you believe you are capable of doing. If you choose a higher level of mathematics and you don't enjoy it or you find it extremely challenging, you can always drop to the level below. However, if you choose the lowest level, you then don't have the option of moving up to a higher level, as you have not covered a lot of the content. Also, talk to your maths teacher and listen to their recommendation. They know you best and they also have experience with the courses, so they are the ones to ask for advice. Now think very carefully about your future career, because some university courses will require you to have done the higher levels of mathematics. This brings us to the question, why should you study mathematics for the HSC? Because after all, mathematics is not compulsory in year 11 and 12. Having said that, mathematics is extremely important because it helps us make sense of the complexities of our world, and it makes us better problem solvers in both our everyday lives and in our careers. So, whether you want to be a hairdresser in the future or an astrophysicist, I guarantee to you that you will be using mathematics in one shape or form. To find out more information about how you will be using mathematics in your chosen career, click on the link below. So this is my advice to you. Choose mathematics and make your career count. Why study the higher levels of mathematics in year 11 and 12, and that is Mathematics and Extension 1. As I discussed before, mathematics will be a prerequisite for a lot of courses at university in the future. And also, with a great focus by the government on STEM careers and STEM education, it is very important that you seriously consider what level of mathematics you study for the HSC. I now advise you to click on the STEM careers video under supporting materials to find out the answer to this question.